In this video, we're going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of running on sand. But what is really the biggest disadvantage of running on sand? Do you know what it is? I don't know either. So let's go together, watch this cool intro of mine, and let's find out. Howdy folks, and welcome to a brand new episode of Feet & Co, where I talk about anything and everything about foot health and fun and anything, where I surely hope you get entertained in this video. Well, in this special episode, I am currently in Da Nang in Vietnam, central Vietnam, holidaying with my family, and I could not miss an opportunity to talk about sand. Now, I talked about in the start of this video about the disadvantages of running on sand. Well, let me kick off this video by leveling up the scales by talking about the advantages of running on sand, and there are 5. Here we go. The first one is wait for the helicopter to pass first. 5 advantages for running on sand. Number 1, it is relaxing. Number 2, you are engaging a lot more muscles in your foot and your leg because it's trying to move around on an uneven and very soft surface. Number 3, it is my favorite reason. It is a low impact sport. Because of the sand being so soft and shock absorbing, you're going to reduce the amount of shock that hits your soft tissues and your bones and your joints when you're running on soft sand. Number 4 is that you will burn, guaranteed burn more calories because your body has to work harder. Your aerobic capacity, you have to breathe more to get the motion, and your running economy changes, of course, because you're running a lot harder and you have to breathe more. Number 5 is my favorite as a podiatrist, is that you improve your foot's proprioception. And what is proprioception is basically the surface's ability to sense the world, sense the ground. So in this case, the bottom of the foot will be able to sense the uneven, odd, rough surfaces of the sand, as opposed to being locked up in socks and soft, flat surfaces of your shoes, which really much reduces its capacity its proprioceptive capacity. So running on sand is tops. Now, what on earth am I talking about when there's a disadvantage? Well, there's really one main one and two adjunct ones. So I'll mention the 2 easy ones first. Sand rash and blisters can happen if you're running barefoot on sand, as well as shoes too. So you choose what's most comfortable for you. For me, I like to run, living in Sydney, you never know what you're going to find in sand. Just for safety purposes, I usually run with soft sneakers, or reef shoes is a good one to wear too, because you never know what you're going to find in sand. Safety first, folks. Anyway, so the biggest disadvantage of running on sand is that it can alter your running technique. And this means if you may be a recreational runner, or a pro sprinter, or short or long distance runner, what happens is if you use sand training as a way to improve your technique before a race or during the competitive season, you are mistaken. Bad idea. Because let's look at the posture. The 3 main markers for me when you're running on track or road running is that when you're running on those surfaces, there are 3 points you have to realize. Number 1, your head and neck, torso are more in an upright position. This is also known as running tall. This is the reason why, is because if you run tall, then you reduce the compression of your chest on your lungs, which inhibit the ability to breathe efficiently when you run. So you find yourself shortness of breath, which is not good. So you run tall to open up your chest, so you can breathe better to run better. Okay. Now, when it comes to your hips are usually in line with your torso anyway, so they're running straight, and that means that your center mass stays relatively high and reduces the drag on your lower back, and therefore your lower back doesn't get sore after running too long. And number 3 is your feet. When you're running with your feet on hard surfaces like a track or a road running, if you are a long distance runner, you should be hitting the ground on your midfoot. And if you're sprinting, if you're a sprinter, you should be running on your forefoot. Those are the 3 main markers of running straight on track and road running. That's the real competitive running. Okay. Now, side note, for triathletes or any athletes who run on perform on different surfaces, decathlons or triathlons, you're a whole different story. This is not for you. Move on. Watch it, enjoy it, share it, but move on. Okay, so back to the video. Now, when you are running on sand, what happens to your posture is that it changes those 3. Number 1, your torso your torso, all that moves forward, and it's because your body can't reach the speeds that it normally runs at on hard surfaces, because as your foot tries to gain horizontal force or horizontal velocity to basically push off to gain speed, the sand goes, nah, we're going to screw you. We're going to make it harder for you to push off. We're going to make your foot slide backwards, and we're going to make the surface just melt, just move away from your foot, which means that your foot can slip backwards, meaning your hips and knees have to change position to compensate for that change in motion to gain speed. So what happens is because your body can't move as fast to pump those legs to run at a certain speed, it has to compensate. And this is what happens. Your head, neck, and torso have to greatly tilt forward so that your body can generate a more driving force. Your center of mass drops and your hips will tilt forward, and your feet will basically land in a sitting position. No matter if you land on your forefoot, midfoot, or rear foot, your foot will just absorb into the sand, meaning that your driving force is a lot harder. And as a result, you have to work harder at it to increase your speed. Now, if you want to do this running, for training purposes in preparation for competitive events, no. If you want to do it for training during the off season, yes. So here's what I recommend for those who want to sand run. Now keep in mind, the disadvantage is form. If you run on sand, your form will change, and you don't want to do that right before your running race, your fun run, your half marathon or your full marathon, because then if you train for sand the whole time, how's that going to be translated onto road running? You are going to fail hard. Your body, your efficiency to breathe, your ability for you to your foot, ankle muscles, your joint motions have changed. Not a good idea. So here's what I recommend. If you are just a for fitness runner, get rid of road running. Run straight on the sand. If you can get to the sand several times a week and it's safe to run barefoot, even better. If it's not, wear those reef shoes, wear those shoes to run on. It's no problem. Run on sand. They will make you lose burned calories. Killer burned calories. And if you are a recreational runner, if you want to mix up a bit of running just for lifestyle, you're not going to compete, maybe do a few fun runs here and there, then I suggest 1 to 2 times long distance to sprinting running on sand as an adjunct to keep the body guessing. Totally agree. If you are pro or seasonal routine competitor, then I suggest maybe once a week, short spurts running on sand, just to keep the body guessing, reduce shock, and improve your anaerobic capacity. Then yes, totally agree. Any more than that, I'd say it's not a good idea. But however, during the off season, when there's the competitions and all the running races are done for that season or that year, yeah, go running on sand. Beautiful. It's the best part of the body, and you're most likely to be on vacation like I am, enjoying sand like this. So during the off season, I encourage a lot more running on sand, just to improve your aerobic capacity, so you breathe better, as well as work your muscles. Strengthening is important too, and you will achieve that running on sand. Now, just to summarize, there are 5 advantages for running, 5 big advantages for running. For disadvantages, there's 1, and there's 2 cheap, 2 easy ones. So all in all, is sand running good for you? Of course it is. Is it bad for you? Yes, if you use it the wrong way. And this is the case for performance and competing. Don't do sand running to prep for competitive races, because it's going to change your form and technique. So folks, did you find this video useful? I really hope you did. It was a struggle to get the lighting right and the sand right, and it was a headache, but I did it on the beach, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you really enjoyed this video, guys, there's a subscribe button somewhere in the sand. No, I'm joking. It's somewhere down on this side. Bang it, subscribe, and hit the bell notification next door to it to stay in the loop when I drop new content. And all folks, oh, and also if you have any questions, please post them below, and I'll answer them promptly. And yeah, it's bye for now from Da Nang in Vietnam, and I'll see you back in the office in the next video. 2-minute vacation. Of course, walk and run smarter, not harder. Bye for now.